A recent Sydney Morning Herald article released a few details and a scan from a document pertaining to the new 2024 timetable, which will start on the 20th of October and last until the larger timetable change next year. Bear in mind, the current information does not contain any detailed information about stopping patterns. Before this timetable is introduced, a new temporary timetable will apply to the T2, 3 and 6, allowing the closure of the Bankstown line for conversion to the metro. This will have between 2 and 4 trains per hour on the new T3 and 3 trains per hour on T6. A shuttle will run 4 TPH between Sydenham and the city, advertised as T8 for most of the day. In the new timetable, Sector 1, T4, will not change. The Sector 2, T2, 3, 5, 6 and 8 changes are as follows. On peak, T2 Parramatta to City, 4 trains an hour, which has no change from the previous timetable. T2 Leppington to City, 8 trains an hour, no change. T3, 4 trains an hour, mostly a new service. T5, 4 trains an hour in mornings, up from 2 trains an hour, and 2 trains an hour in afternoons. T6, 4 trains an hour, which is a new service. T8, Macarthur to City via airport, 4 trains an hour in the morning, presumably the removal of Macarthur to City semi-fast trains, and 6 trains an hour in the afternoon. T8, Revesby to City via airport, 4 trains an hour with no change. T8, Macarthur to City via Sydenham, 2 trains an hour in the mornings, which is a new service, and no afternoon service. T8 Campbelltown to City via Sydenham, 6 trains an hour in mornings, up from 4 trains an hour, and 4 trains an hour in afternoons. Interpeak and perhaps weekends, it's not explicitly stated. T2 Homebush to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T2 Parramatta to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T2 Leppington to City, 4 trains an hour, no change. T3, 2 trains an hour, no change between Sefton and Liverpool. T5, 2 trains an hour, no change. T6, 4 trains an hour, new service, up to 6 trains an hour combined with T3 between Regent's Park and Lidcombe. T8, Macarthur to City via airport, 4 trains an hour, no change. T8, Revesby to City via airport, 4 trains an hour, no change. And T8, Sydenham to City, 4 trains an hour, new service. The Sector 3 changes are as follows. Peak, T1 Penrith to City, 6 trains an hour, no change. T1 Emu Plains to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Richmond to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Schofields to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T9 Epping to City, 4 trains an hour, no change. T9 Hornsby to Sydney Terminal, central terminating platforms, 4 trains an hour, no change. T1 Barowra to Central, 4 trains an hour, no change. T1 Hornsby to Central, 4 trains an hour, down from 8 trains an hour, which I'll come back to later. T1 Gordon to City, 4 trains an hour, no change. Interpeak, and possibly weekends again, T1 Penrith to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Emu Plains to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Richmond to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T9 Hornsby to City, 4 trains an hour, no change. T1 Barowra to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Hornsby to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. T1 Gordon to City, 4 trains an hour, no change. And T1 Richmond to City, 2 trains an hour, no change. In broader terms, this new timetable includes the removal of the 2 hourly St Mary's to City peak services, all T1 trains running all stops between Seven Hills and Penrith or Emu Plains, or all stops between Parramatta and Schofields and Richmond. All T1 trains using the main lines between Parramatta and Homebush, with few exceptions. Better reliability for North Shore services from the removal of 4 hourly services. This also gives more time savings to Central Coast and Newcastle via shore trains, which continue to operate in this timetable change. The removal of all Linfield terminating trains, but I imagine a few trains today will still continue to use the number 2 platform to clean rusty rails so the platform can be used to short-turn late-running trains. The removal of late-night Gordon terminating trains except on Friday and Saturday nights. Most down Central Coast trains towards Newcastle will use the down relief between Epping and Hornsby to overtake T9 trains. Simplified T2 stopping patterns. Parramatta trains run all stops, and Leppington trains have only 2 stopping patterns. The removal of T2 Ashfield trains. Like Linfield though, I imagine the platform will be retained. A combined frequency of 16 trains an hour, including semi-fast trains, on T2 and T3 between Lidcombe and the city. Timed interchanges between T6 and T3 at Regent's Park and between T6, T3 and other services at Lidcombe to allow passengers on T6 and T3 to continue their onward travel. The removal of 2 hourly airport trains in the mornings. A new Sydenham to City service which runs in the interpeak and during peak in the opposite direction to peak trains, and slightly increased airport journey times. My thoughts on the changes are mixed. Across the board, changes are mostly neutral or positive. The only exceptions are the North Shore Line and Airport Line. I've seen people claim that Erskineville and St Peters are worse off, but this really isn't the case. The morning frequency is 8 trains an hour towards the city, and all other times and directions is still 4 trains an hour. The airport line reduction is not ideal, but I assume it's the only way to make trains available for the Sydenham local trains. Airport stations are both on cycleways to the city, so if you live in either Mascot or Green Square, consider cycling. The North Shore Line reduction is justified by the Metro. Trains will empty at Chatswood, allowing more space for passengers further south. The 4 trains an hour reduction allows better reliability as more breathing room is available during late running. Regular passengers know how easily delays cascade down multiple trains at the moment. Also, most stations get far less than the current 20 trains an hour, with the mess of semi-fast and fast trains spreading out the level of service. If the stopping pattern is simplified, there could well be a frequency increase at several stations. The weekday interpeak Linfield terminators are redundant now that the Metro is open, so I'm not really disappointed that they're going. Thanks for watching this video. I'll make a community post when the timetables become available in PDF form. Please consider subscribing or even becoming a channel member, and I'll see you in October, probably.